everybody, and welcome to What's Good with Sergeant Show. I'm your host, Sergeant Show, and tonight I'm drinking and reviewing beers. You know, I'm in Seattle, Washington for work. You can see the majestic pine trees right over my shoulder. I'm in the hotel room right now. And I went to the liquor store and I'm looking for a local beer. You know how I do. I try every beer in the universe. So I'm like, what do you got that's local? And they say, we got this Rainier. Rainier. Right? And I'm thinking, we're under the shadow of Mount Rainier. So, of course, this makes perfect sense that we should drink this beer and review it as a local beer. And then I look at the brew company that makes it, and it's Rainier Brewery in Irwindale, California. It's a California beer that says Rainier on it. So how does that happen? Well, the brewery started here in Seattle, I think 150 years ago. And then 1916 during Prohibition, there was Prohibition here, and apparently there wasn't Prohibition in California, and so they moved the brewery to California in 1916 to get around Prohibition, and just been making it from down there ever since. It's a very light pilsnery, light colored, like a golden pilsnery kind of beer. I don't have a glass to show you, but it's Rainier from Rainier Brewing Company in Irvingdale, California. Now, you know how we do this. We drink every beer in the universe and we rate it on a scale of 1 to 12. It's a 12-pack scale, and we take 3 big gulps because, sometimes a beer, it starts a little different. It pours a little different. It finishes a little different. 3 big gulps is the way to know. P.S., when I say 3 big gulps, usually your first big gulp is kind of weak. So sometimes it's 3.5. Anyways, that's a good, clean tasting beer, but with some good beer flavor. It kind of reminds me of a Coors Light or a Bud Light style of beer with a little bit more flavor. And I would say regular Budweiser or Coors Banquet beer. No, not like that. Tastes just like a light beer, but just with a little bit more beer flavor. Not like a full flavored beer like that. But let's not be too hasty. Let's take 3 more big gulps. Just about as easy as any beer you'll ever drink. But it's got some flavor to it. I like it. It kind of reminds me of Ham's Light. I don't know if you know me. One of my favorite cheap beers is Ham's. And this kind of reminds me like a Ham's Light. It's got that similar kind of flavor, but a much lighter, pour and finish. I'm going to say, once again, we grade these beers within the scale of the type of beers that they represent. This represents Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light. That's what it represents. And we're going to rate it on that scale because it's in that spectrum. We can't possibly rate all beers the same. That's anarchy. A chocolate peanut butter imperial stout the same as this Rainier? No, there's no way. Long story short, I'm going to go 9 with Rainier. I really like it. It's got all the entrapments of a ultralight beer with some pretty good beer taste. I see why they've been brewing this for 150 years because, You could drink 12 of these, no problem, just down the hatch and just have a good time. Dance around your mining site, you know what I mean? Like, hey, there's gold in them hills. And that's what's good with Sergeant's show. And if you aren't watching this, who gives a shit? It's more good beer for the rest of us. For Oscar Mike.